All right, guys. So something absolutely, totally shocking and unexpected is happening for Total War Empire on mobile. So this is on Android and iOS. If you don't know already, a company called Feral Interactive, with Creative Assembly's blessing, has been porting a lot of the older Total Wars to mobile. So they started with Total War Rome, and then they did Medieval 2. They did Empire a little while ago, and now I'm about to say something I never expected in all of my kind of wildest dreams, but Empire on mobile is getting a totally new exclusive expansion. More content, more playable countries, factions, more units. I mean, it's just a totally new start date. Guys, this is like unheard of and incredible. We haven't had this kind of content update for an older Total War game in a very long time. Creative Assembly has basically forgotten about them, right? But Feral is doing something amazing here. And, you know, I've already sung the praises of some of their mobile ports. I think they're really cool. I love that you can play Total War on mobile anywhere, wherever you go. And the fact that they've done this sort of expansion and content update is just absolutely incredible. So what I want to do today essentially is Feral Interactive released a blog post alongside their announcement about a new world, this expansion for Empire. And it goes into a lot of detail about all the changes that are coming to the game. So what I'm going to do in this video is basically go through all of these changes and give you my thoughts, how it's going to impact the gameplay, why you should care, because there is a lot here that's very, very cool and interesting. And, you know, maybe some of the implications for the PC and Mac version of the game. Maybe even a remaster, dare I say. But yeah, let's dive straight in. So, Blog 1, Rise of Nations. Welcome to the first in a series of blogs offering a deep dive into a new world, the ambitious expansion coming to Total War Empire for iOS and Android on September 18th. So, keep your eyes peeled for this release, people. Empire: A New World unlocks a total of 44 nations for play, split between existing minor factions and emergent factions, people. Oh my god. I mean, you can play as the Mughal Empire, you can play as Dagestan and turn it into a global superpower, beat Simon Bolivar to the punch in liberating Gran Colombia. It's fantastic. 44 new factions. Empire's new clothes, so drawing directly from their histories, many of these nations now have new national traits, unit variants which help to shape their playstyles. As an example, take a look at the Mizorians down here. The national trait European experts models the rapid modernization of the Sultanate's military under Sultan Haidar and his son Tipu Sultan. They saw the devastating impact of the East India Company's control of parts of the subcontinent and enlisted hundreds of mainly French mercenaries to train their armies in European techniques. First of all, we've got these 44 new factions, many of the minor factions that exist, and emergent factions as well. This is clearly an effort to bring them up to a playable speed with the rest of the factions that are playable as well. Make them distinct, their own unique traits and units, and, you know, kind of a differentiated campaign, right? This has to feel new to the player. So lots of new traits, units, all that. But also, I really like that they've added this kind of historical context to why Missouri plays this way, right? There's a great, interesting grounding for why they're adding these features. And it's something that I think older games did really well. You know, you're playing the British Empire at this time. They're going through these issues because of this. Every research, every trait, character, there's so much information given to you. It's like a history lesson, and it's guiding you through your campaign. And I love that Feral have continued that kind of development ethos and giving you that sort of context to why the game is the way it is, why the faction is the way it is, why you're getting these units. I really, really like this context. So European experts gives you 100% research rate on all tier 2 technologies. Really, really cool. That's not the only one here. So Garibaldi, never heard of him. This section here gives you a bit more about the Italian minor faction. So if you play as Genoa, Savoy, Venice, if you're able to hold the entire peninsula as well as Sardinia, they'll unlock powerful new bonuses, propelling them from obscurity to the world stage. So you get this very interesting little, you know, kind of pop-up dynamic dynamic trait if you can control all of Italy and unify it. Isn't that just amazing? I mean, that's just a fantastic little subtle, interesting addition to the game that wasn't there before. I really, really like that. So the other obvious point here is, this is just the first blog post. This is a sneak peek of this kind of feature being added to the game. This is just Italy. What other regions are there in the world that are getting this treatment, right? What about India? What if what if you are Missouri and you get to unify all of India? Is there a sort of interesting, unique trait for them? Is there one for South America and uniting all of the South American territories, or Europe as France, kind of doing an early Napoleon, so to speak? There's so much that you can do with this kind of dynamic, interesting region controlling trait unlocking for various factions. I'm very interested to see more of what Feral Interactive do with this specifically. And on top of that, Venice will have access to a new Royal Fleet galley, a nod to the most serene Republic's slow adoption of sail power. These ships benefit from the new Focused Force attribute, which gives an increasing discount to their upkeep for each additional Royal galley in the same fleet, up to a maximum of minus 33% for fleets, with at least 12 such galleys. Interesting, very cool little, okay, you get a new unit, but it's not just a new unit to add to your, variety of naval units here. This one actually has an effect on your upkeep and your navy, and you got to strategize with how many of these you use, where you put them, which navies you put them into. There's a limited amount, so I quite like this, giving Venice again a bit more flavor. All these interesting new playable factions getting lots of flavor and making them quite unique versus others. Very, very cool, interesting addition. Some nations have received more balancing than others. For example, Mexico has multiple national traits that weaken the economy in the early game and strengthen it later on. Other nations have been left mostly untouched in order to provide extremely challenging campaign experiences for the more masochistic players out there, which there are definitely. The aim is to help the new fledgling nations compete against the established powers, facilitating the new and unique styles of play while minimizing any disruption to the play experience of the base game factions. Very cool. So this is, I really hope this is just kind of a sneak peek of some of the features that are coming to all these other new minor factions, Mexico, etc. I'm very excited to get into them, but it's a very, very interesting set of changes coming to people like Venice and Missouri and traits and units, etc. And then this next section, the Age of Revolution, is kind of a very interesting detail here. Those familiar with Empire's innovative government systems will know that revolutions are a constant risk and that new nations can emerge if rebels succeed in capturing certain capitals. Emergent nations such as Scotland, Mexico, and Mamluks are now playable from the beginning of the campaign. Scotland, which I love. I love. These factions are among the most interesting in a new world and are fertile soil for players who like to experiment with the counterfactual scenario. So making Scotland a power and taking over the British Empire, can you imagine that? Or the Mamluks and taking over the Ottoman Empire, or Mexico and fighting off the French and taking over the United States. The kind of opportunities here, the chances to create something totally new, an empire that we've never been able to before is totally here, and I love it. I'm here for it. I love what Feral have done with this, and this expansion giving us the chance to play these emergent nations is something that I never could have expected. I'm very, very excited about this. And there's also one emblematic revolutionary republic which has received a great deal of our attention, but we'll be spilling the tea on that one in a later blog, so stay tuned. Revolutionary Republic, could be France, could be the US, obviously. Spilling the tea is a good hint there. United States, the colonies and lots of attention there to them. I'm very excited about that. They have to be, of course, a playable faction as well if they're emergent. And, they're a minor faction, but hopefully the US actually, when they become the US, get a lot more interesting traits and units, especially as well. Lots of interesting stuff there. And then finally here on the blog post, we've got one last addition, one last bit here that I quite like as well. The Native American factions were kind of exclusive to the Warpath DLC campaign campaign, as we all know. This new update is going to be bringing them as playable factions to the grand campaign. So in New World, you'll be able to play as the Iroquois, the Cherokee, Plains Nations, Pueblo Nations, the Huron, all playable in the grand campaign for the first time, complete with all of their Warpath improvements, which is fantastic. Now you have the opportunity to halt the flow of colonization and even reverse it entirely. Oh, that'll be difficult, but I'm definitely up for trying that. With Native American factions playable across all three of the Grand Campaign's theaters of war. I love that. Being able to take the Cherokee and conquering India, or actually invading the British and just destroying the British exclusively. I'm very excited to see what you can do with that as well. And on the subject of Warpath, the next installment of a New World blog will dive into both of the new campaign starts. Yes, we said both. So like I said in the beginning of the video, there is a brand new start date coming to Empire Total War. They're just hinting at that. Very excited to see more about that in the next blog post, but that's fantastic news. I mean, a new start date means totally new start positions, potentially even new technology and research trees, buildings, units. I mean, it's just the potential is off the scale. So, you can imagine all sorts of interesting start dates that they could do, but I imagine they're going to keep it to the 18th century, maybe late 1700s, and just switch things around a little bit, start position wise, maybe some new factions. I don't know. But that's very, very exciting to hear as well. So yeah, that is everything we know of so far coming to Total War Empire on mobile with this expansion. And a New World looks absolutely fantastic, amazing, incredible, totally unexpected, unpredictable. I did not see this coming, and I think, Feral Interactive must have had a lot more success with Empire's port to mobile than they anticipated. They created this expansion, which okay, they're making it paid. Fair enough. There's a lot of content here that I did not expect, and hopefully we find out more in future blog posts as well, as we know we will. Very excited to learn more. I'm very, very, glad. I'm happy that I think Feral Interactive have taken this on in this way. I think it's commendable, honestly. I think they've done an amazing thing with this. Their mobile ports I love. I'm very excited to find out more. And yeah, I mean, if this is successful, it might be a good case for Empire to be remastered for these kinds of changes, at least to come to the PC and Mac versions of the game, which would be absolutely fantastic. Absolutely fantastic are the two words of the day, because this news has just blown me away. I love it. So yeah, that's going to be the end of the video here today. I really hope you enjoyed it and found it informative. If you didn't know about this, I'm really glad you know about it now. I hope you enjoyed the way I've presented it. The news here has just been amazing. I'm still in shock, to be honest, having made this video. I'm sure you're in a bit of shock as well if you really enjoy Empire and you enjoy Empire and mobile specifically as well. But yeah, more of this will come. So as the blog posts come, I'll be here making videos. If you enjoyed this one, if you found it informative, do give it a like. Drop any thoughts or questions in the comment section below. As always, I'm happy to respond and answer anything as much as I can. And subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed this video. You want to see more like it and more kind of reaction videos to the future blog posts to the New World expansion coming to Empire on mobile. So thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time.